Hey guys, in this video we're going to be creating a simple website, a responsive website using the W3 CSS framework. This framework is similar to Bootstrap, Foundation. I guess they're all pretty similar, and gives you things like buttons, alerts, text classes. It has its own grid system, so it has quite a bit. If you look over on the sidebar here, this is the documentation, w3schools.com/w3css. Alright, so what we'll be building is this site here. This is basically a one-page website. If I click About, it brings us down, Services, Contact. So let's start at the top here. We have the nav bar, which is pretty simple. I think it's easier to implement than the Bootstrap nav bar, but it doesn't give you as much features. And then we have the showcase area here. We're not using too much of the framework here. It's basically just a background image with a heading, and then a paragraph and a button. All right, now notice when I reload, the heading and the paragraph kind of fade in, which is kind of nice. And that's just from adding a certain class to it. Same thing here with the opacity. You can see through the button here. All right, then we just have this area, and notice when I hover over these, they get a little lighter. They're not links or anything. I just wanted to add that effect. All right, we're using Font Awesome for icons, just by including the Font Awesome CDN. So this is the About area. Okay, we get these little tabs or accordions, whatever you want to call them. Then just a simple image, another heading here, our services, and we're using some more Font Awesome icons. And we added some background color to them using the framework. And then down here we just have a simple contact form and a footer. All right, so very, very simple. Oh, and if we click on Start here, it opens up a modal with a form, a registration form. This doesn't work, it's just the UI, okay? And if we go ahead and make this smaller, this is the mobile view, which is actually, I think, better looking than the website view. All right, so we have our menu, which turns into a responsive menu, and we have our little areas here. We have our accordion, services. You can see the icons are now all in one row, and we have our form at the bottom. Okay, so pretty simple, and it's very responsive. You can see this is around the size of a tablet. Still looks good. All right, so I'm not saying that this is better than Bootstrap. In fact, it's definitely not, but it is an alternative that you can use if you want to just expand your front-end development skills. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. All we have to do to use this is include the CDN, which is this link right here. We just need to add that to our header, and we should be good. So let's go ahead and I'm going to just create a file on my desktop, or a folder rather, and I'm going to call this acme underscore w3 css. Okay, and we're just going to create an index HTML file, and that's going to be our only HTML file. Okay, we also want a folder CSS, and let's create a folder called img for our images. Alright, now I'm just going to open up, actually let's create our style sheet first. So this will be style.css, and we're going to open up our index HTML, and let's open that with Atom. Of course, you can use whatever you'd like. Alright, so I'm going to put some basic HTML tags in here. And let's go to the title, and we'll say Acme, let's do all caps, Acme Web Services. Okay, now if we go over here, we want to grab the viewport right here, because it's going to be responsive, and then the CDN link. And we'll put that right there. Alright. Now, and let me just extend this. I like to do it so we can see both on the same, split screens, but you guys won't be able to see all the code. It gets all jumbled. All right. Let's see. So we're also going to want to link our style sheet. So I'm just going to copy this, and let's change this to css/style.css. Now we're also using Font Awesome, so I'm just going to grab that CDN as well. Okay, so let's do right here, and we'll grab it. We'll grab this. So we'll put it right here. href, and then let's just paste that in. Alright, so that should be it for our header, our head tag. Okay, let's actually open this up. Okay. Oops. So now what we want to do is, let's go to the documentation. Let me just close that. And let's go to the navigation, because that's the first thing on our list. Alright, so the navigation, you have different colors. You have gray, dark gray, bluish gray, black. We're going to use the black version. So all we have to do is include this W3 black class. Alright, and the nav bar itself takes a W3 bar class. Notice that all the classes are prefixed with W3 dash. Okay, so let's go down here first. We do want the responsive version. So let's grab this. Okay, so we have our W3 bar, W3 black, and then our links. Now I want the menu or the links to float to the right, and then we're going to have the I guess logo, if you want to call it that. It's basically just the title here. We want that on the left, and we want the links on the right. So what I'll do is, if we go to our documentation, let's see, it should show us what to do if we just want text. Right here, navigation bar text. So if we want text, we just use a span like that. Alright, so we'll put that right there. And then to align these links, let's do span and class. And then this framework has alignment classes, so we can say W3 right. And we'll just wrap these links here. Okay, let's tab that over. Alright, so let's save that and let's see what we get. Okay, so we have our links over here and our logo over here. Let's go like that. Now, notice that this doesn't look very responsive. I mean, this part does, but this is, we're floating this to the right. We don't want that. So if you want to take away all the floats and basically make it mobile friendly, all you have to do is add the W3 mobile class. So we're going to add that to the branding right here, the logo. Let's actually make this Acme Web Services. Okay, and we'll add the class W3 Mobile. And I'm also going to give this a class of branding so that we can, style it if we want. And then we also want to put the W3 Mobile onto this span. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that. And there we go. Now it's responsive. Alright, so, and that's pretty much it for the nav bar. Oh, I do want to, excuse me, I do want to make these hover. I want to make these red, not gray. So what we can do is add W3 hover red, I believe. Let's try it out. Yeah, okay, and you can have different colors too if you want. But I'm just going to make all of these red. So let's just add those. Okay, we'll save that. And now we have the red hover. Alright, so let's just change these links up. So we have home, that's going to go to the number sign, which will bring it to the top. And then this one will be, this one will be about. I'm going to make this href go to the number sign and then about. And then services. Contact. Alright, and I'm just going to put a comment here saying this is the navigation. And that should be good. Let's save it. And now we have our links. All right, so next we're going to do the showcase. Okay, now that has a background image which you can find in your in the code in the description. Let me just go to there. So you should have showcase.jpg, and then we also have the about image. All right, so we're going to create a section here. We're going to use the HTML5 section tag and give it a class of showcase. Okay, and in here, let's see, we're going to put a container because we want everything inside the text to be pushed into the middle and have margin auto on the sides. So with this framework, the container class is a w3-container. All right, and then I also want everything to be centered, so we're going to use the class w3center. Okay, and then in here we're going to have the h1, and that's going to say go anywhere, and we're going to make that all uppercase through CSS. And then we have an HR, horizontal rule, which we need to change the style of that, and then a paragraph, and this just has some sample content. I'm just going to grab this. You guys can put whatever you'd like here. Alright, and then we have the button. So under the paragraph, let's put in button, and that's going to have a class of w3-button. We want it to be red, so w3 red. I want it to be large, w3 large. There's also w3 small, extra large, extra large. And then I also want it to be see-through, so we're going to say w3 opacity. Okay. And that's just going to say start here. Alright, so let's see what it looks like. Okay. So let's go to the CSS, to our style.css file. And let's start with the branding here. I want that to be a little bigger, so we're going to say dot branding, and I'm just going to set the font size to 17 pixels. Okay, and then we'll do the showcase. So it's going to have a background, which will be a URL, and that's going to be // in the image folder /showcase.jpg. Alright, and we're going to set it to no repeat. Then we're going to set the height. Okay, height's going to be 600 pixels. And let's set, I want to set the background position of the image to center. Okay, actually I'm going to put that above the height. Alright, so height 600, and let's set padding. So padding, I want to do 140 on the top and bottom, and then 100 on the left and right. Alright, and I want all the color to be white. So let's go ahead and save that, reload. Okay, so we need to do a couple things here. So we'll do it with the H1. Showcase H1, and I want to set the font size to be 40 pixels, and let's set the font weight to 700, make it a little more bold, and then I want to do text transform because I want it to be all uppercase. Alright, let's take a look at that. Now we also have a we can use a text shadow class. If we look in the documentation here, let's see right here. So if we add this class w3 text shadow, let's add that to our h1. What did I do? Okay, so if we look at that, you can't really see it too good, but it just added a little bit of shadow. Let's see what else we want to do. I want it to fade in, and all we have to do for that to happen is just add a simple class. So W3 animate dash opacity. So now when we reload, you'll see that it fades in. Okay, so that's really simple to implement. Let's also do it to the paragraph. So we'll give this a class of W3 animate opacity. So now both of the heading and the paragraph fade in. Okay, let's go back to our style sheet, and now we're going to do the HR right here. I want to make it red, and I want to make it really small. So we'll say showcase HR, and let's set this to a width of 100 pixels, and we're going to set the margin auto, which will bring it to the middle, and set the border width to 3 pixels, and set the border color to that red color, which is hexadecimal value F44 excuse me, 336. Okay, let's reload. There we go. Now for the paragraph, I want the font to be a little bigger, so let's do showcase P, and we'll set the font size. Oops. Set the font size to 16. Alright, and let's set the padding bottom of the paragraph. We're going to set that to 20 pixels. Okay, so just a little bit of change. And that's it for the showcase area. So now we're going to do this section right here, this welcome home section. So let's go back to our HTML. And let's go right here, and I'm just going to call this section 1. Okay, now I'm going to give this a class of section, and also the background color I want to be red, so we can simply do W3 red, and then let's do W3 hover opacity, which will make it fade a little bit when we hover over it. Okay, so in here we want the container because we want to bring the content in from the sides. So W3 container and also W3 center. And let's see, we're going to use font awesome here, so we want to put in an I tag with the class of FA, and then the icon we want, which is FA-home. Okay, then we're going to put an H2, and we're just going to say welcome home, and then a paragraph, which I'm just going to grab this, paste that in, and let's take a look at it. Okay, now look how small the icon is by default. We need to make that bigger. And then I also want to add some padding. So let's go to our style sheet, and let's add in dot section. Okay, there's going to be a few elements that have this class, and we're going to add the padding. Let's say padding 40 pixels on the top and bottom, 0 on the sides. And then for the H2 section H2, I want to remove the padding and margin. All right, and then for the icon, has a class of FA, and I'm going to set the font size of that icon to 50 pixels. Okay, and that should do it. Let's save and reload, and there we go. That's that. So now we're going to do the next section, which is similar, so I'm going to just copy this. And let's change this to section 2, and then we're going to do W3 light gray. We'll keep the hover class, and we're going to keep that. The icon we're going to change to cog, which is just a gear icon, and then let's change this to let's begin. Okay, save that, reload, and there's that. So the next area is going to be this about right here. So let's go ahead and add that. Let's do, actually I'll just copy this. Okay, so we're going to take away these two classes. We'll keep the section class, and then we're not going to center this, but we do want the container. And let's take away this stuff here. Okay, now this is where we're going to use the grid system. So just like with Bootstrap, we do a row class, and then we have our column classes. So let's say div class w3 dash, now you can do w3 row, but we want padding for the columns, so we're going to add w3 row padding. Alright, and then we'll do div, let's give this a class of w3 call, and then the size of it, which will be a 5-column div, so we want to do M5. Okay, so that's for the medium size screen. You can also do L5, S5 for small screens. And then I'm just going to copy that. And then this one's going to be 7. Alright, so the 5-column is just going to have that image. So image source, and that's going to be img/about.jpg. Alright, so let's reload. We have our image now. This goes outside of its container, so what we need to do is set the image to 100% width. So I'm just going to add it to the section. So section image, set that to a width of 100%, and reload, and now it's contained within its div. Okay, so next we have the accordion. Now with this, we actually have to add a little bit of JavaScript. So if we go to, let's see, accordions, and we need to, basically whatever element we want to click, we need to add an on-click, and then we need to add a function, which is this function here. So let's actually just grab this script tag and everything in it, go down to above the body, and paste that in. Okay, they called it my function, but you can call it whatever you want. I'm just going to call it ACC, accordion function. And basically it just adds and removes the W3 show class when we click it. So let's go back up here where we want to put the accordion, and let's grab, let's see, let's grab this. Alright, so it's not called my function, it's going to be HCC function. And then this is going to be basically the ID. It needs to match whatever content you want open when you click this. So this is going to be what, and then we're going to change this ID to what. Okay, and then for this text right here, let's say what we do. Okay, and then for the text, I'm just going to copy this, and then we also have an H3, so let's put that in as well. And what did it say? We do everything, or we do it all, something like that. Okay, then we'll just put a paragraph, and I'm just going to paste that text in. Alright, so let's go over here and reload, and now we have our little drop down accordion. Now I want this to show by default, so what we can do is just change the W3 hide to W3 show. Okay, and then we just want to copy, let's see, button, this ends here, so we want this, and copy it, and then we'll paste it right below, and again. So this one will be who, and this will be who, and this is going to be W3 hide. Excuse me. And then for this, let's say, what did I say for who? We are Acme. Okay, and we'll just leave that text. So actually, we'll just make it a little shorter. Okay, and then down here, this is going to be where. Let's see, where, and then this is also going to be where. And we'll say we are everywhere. Sounds a little creepy, but it's fine. Okay, so let's, oh, this needs to be hide. So let's try that. Okay, so this is open by default, and then we can open this one and this one. Close them as well. All right, so that's our About section. And if we go up here and we click on About, it should, oh, we didn't give it an ID of About, did we? Yeah, this section needs an ID of About. All right, so reload and click About. Now notice that when we go down here, the menu's gone. So what we need to do is make this fixed to the top. So to do that, all we have to do is wrap it in a certain class. So let's go back up here, and we're going to wrap the whole navigation in a class called W3 Top. Alright, so let's save that. And now if we reload, it stays at the top. If we click About, we still have the menu. We can go back up. Okay? Let's see. Now, if we make this smaller, you'll see that the navbar is now covering this part. We can't go up anymore. What we have to do is add to the body, we have to move this down, but we only want it moved down when it's in a mobile view. So for that, we need to use a media query. So down at the bottom in our CSS file, we are going to say at media only screen, and we want to put a max width here, because the styles in this block should only pertain to when the window has a max width of 600 pixels. Okay, if it's over that, then this won't be in effect. So we just want to say body, and let's add a margin top of 190 pixels. So now if we go over here and reload, now we can see the whole thing. Now I don't like how this looks. There's too much space here, and it's just too big. So we're also going to put our showcase, and let's say height. We'll change it to 400 pixels, make it a little smaller, and then padding, we're going to set to 60 pixels, top and bottom. So now if we reload, now it looks good. All right, and if we make it bigger, you can see that it's unchanged from before. All right, so let's continue on. We're going to now do the services heading, which is this part right here. So let's copy this welcome home area because it's pretty similar, which is this. And then we'll go down here and paste that in. Okay, so this is going to be the services heading. And we want to keep, actually we need to add an ID of services so that the menu goes to it. And we're going to keep all that. We're going to keep these. We're going to get rid of the icon. And then we're going to have an H1. And we'll say our services. And I'm just going to add a text shadow class as well. Text shadow. All right, and we'll keep this text as well. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so there's our services heading. Now we need to put in the actual services. So let's put I'm just going to copy this. Paste that in, and we're going to get rid of the ID and then get rid of those, and then this is going to be light gray, so we want W3 light gray. And we're going to keep these classes, and then we want to use the grid system again, so let's cut this out. And we'll say class W3 row, and then we want our columns. So this will be W3 col, and these are going to be 3 column divs because we want 4 of them. We want 4 3 column divs. So in here we'll have an icon. We're going to give this the class of FA and then FA comment. And we want to give it a background as well, a red background. And then we want to add some padding, which W3 has a class called padding, and then the size we'll say small. I think it's 8 pixels or 4 pixels or something like that. And then we also want it to be rounded, so we're going to say W3 round X large. Alright, so that'll be the icon. And then we want our H3. We'll say internet marketing. And then for the paragraph, we'll just put this lorem ipsum, this right here. Okay, and then let's take a look at that. Okay, looks good, and we're going to copy this column div right here and paste it in 3 more times. Okay, this second one is going to be SEO, and we're going to change the icon to search. Okay, then this one here will be software development, and let's change the icon to, what is it, cubes. And then the last one here is going to be cloud hosting, and we're going to change the comment to FA cloud. So let's take a look at that. Okay, that looks good. Let's check it out in the responsive mobile view. Looks good. Alright, so we're getting there. Let's now do the contact heading, which is this. So I'm going to just copy, let's see, what do I want to copy? Let's copy the Our Services heading because it's pretty much the same thing. Where is it? Right here. Okay, this is going to be contact heading. We'll change the ID to contact. And we're going to change it to W3 dark gray. And let's change this to get in touch. Alright, and then we're going to have the main contact section. So let's see, we'll just copy this. And we're going to get rid of the ID. And then we just need the section class. And then we don't want to center this, so we'll get rid of that. And let's get rid of the H1 in the paragraph. So let's go over to the documentation and let's take a look at inputs. Where is it? Right here. Okay, so these forms actually look pretty cool, pretty nice and clean, checkboxes and so on. But we're going to make this really simple, and we're going to grab this. Okay, let's go paste that right here. Alright, So for the header, let's get rid of that. Let's say contact us. And then let's do name, email, we'll add message as well, W3 input. So this will be message. And then let's do a text area with a class of W3 input, I think. Let's see what that looks like. No, let's They don't give us an example with a text area, apparently. But this is the text area. Let's look at the source code here. Text area class. Alright, let's just copy that. See if that works. Yeah, there we go. So let's add a submit button as well. Let's submit button type equals submit. We'll give it a class of W3 button or BTN. Actually, I don't know if that's right. Is it button or BTN? Button. Alright, and then I'm just going to put a couple line breaks. Oh, we forgot the text in here, so let's say submit. And let's put a line break under the text area. And let's change the color of this to red. No, not red. Let's do dark gray. There we go. Good enough. So if we click contact, it brings us down to the form. Alright, so now we just have the footer, which is very simple. We're going to use an HTML5 footer tag. And let's see, let's give the footer a class of W3 black. And also, I want some padding, so we'll do W3 dash padding dash X large, and then W3 center. And then I'm just going to put a paragraph in here. And we'll just say Acme Web Services copyright 2017. Okay, let's take a look at that. And there's our footer. Very, very simple. Let's see. I actually want to add a little bit of padding to the form. So right here where we have this form tag, let's add W3 padding X large. Okay, so that looks a little better. So that's it really for the home page. Now what we need to do is the modal when we click start here. So if we go to the documentation and we go to, let's see, where is it? Modal. Right here. Okay, so this is a simple modal right here. What I'm going to do, actually I'm just going to type it out. Okay, so we'll start off with the button, the start here button. We have to add some stuff to that, which is right here. We need to add an on-click attribute. So let's do on-click equals, and then we want to do document dot get element by ID, and we'll call this start dash modal, and then we're going to just do dot style, and then dot display, because we want to change the display to a block. So equals block. Okay, because it's going to start off hidden, and then when we click that, it's going to change it from hidden to display block. So now we're going to go down here and we're going to add the modal. So down at the bottom below the footer. So let's put a comment, and we're going to put in a div and give it an ID of start modal, just like we set up above. Okay, and we also need to give it a class of w3-modal. Okay, then we want to do another div with the class of modal content. And inside here we'll have the header. Excuse me. And the header is actually going to have a class, or two classes. We're going to give it a container. Oops. So w3 container, and then also w3 red. Okay, now in the header we're going to put a span, and we're going to do the close button. So this is going to have an on click. All right, span on click. All right, and then for the text, we want to display a an X icon, which we can use ampersand times semicolon. So the on click, we're going to set that to, just like above, document.getElement by ID, and that's going to be start modal. And then we want to add on to the end here .style.display and set that equal to none. Okay, so it's going to close it up again or hide it. So let's see, below the header, actually still in the header, we need to just put our h2, and we'll just say get started. Alright, so now below the header, we're going to put in a div with a container class. Oops. Okay, and inside here, we're going to put a form. Okay, let's put a div here with the class. We're going to give this a class of w3 section. Oops. And then in here, we're going to put our label of name and an input. Input's going to have a class of w3 input. Also, let's do w3 border. And let's add some margin with w3 margin bottom. Okay, which will give it a little bit of bottom margin. And then let's give this input a type of text and a placeholder. And we'll just say enter name. Okay, so there's our name, label, and input. Now under it, we're going to do the username, so I'm just going to copy this, and then we'll just change this to username. Let's change the placeholder as well. And under that, we're going to do the password, So let's change the type from text to password. And we'll say enter password. And let's copy the password label and input, and we're going to do a confirm password. Okay, and then we'll do our button. This is going to have a class of W3. Do we want red? No, let's do black. W3 black, and I want it to be a block button, meaning I want it to go all the way across. So for that, we can do W3-BTN-block. Okay, let's also give it W3 section and W3 padding. And that'll just say submit. Okay, let's save it and let's hope it works. So let's see, we'll reload and start here. Whoa, that doesn't look right. Okay, so something is wrong here. Start modal. Oh, this needs W3 in front of it. That should be it, hopefully. Yep, that was it. This close button should be over there, I believe. Let me see. Let's see. We have our span right here. That has the... Oh yeah, that needs a class as well. So right here, let's say class. And that's going to be W3-close BTN. Okay, so now it's over here and it's a little bigger. Good. So that's it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this little project, and maybe you'll use this framework in the future as an alternative to Bootstrap or Foundation if you want to just kind of give it a new look, because often Bootstrap sites can all look the same. So this gives you just another option. All right, so thanks for watching, guys. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. If you liked it, leave it a like, and hell, even leave it a dislike if you didn't like it. All right, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.